Welcome to another episode of Focus on This, the most productive podcast on the internet. So you can banish distractions, get the right stuff done, and finally start loving Mondays. I'm Courtney, here with a very special guest and my all-time favorite director of marketing, Marissa Hyatt.
Hey, Courtney. Excited to be here. It's always fun to come back on the podcast. I love it.
Yes. Yeah, for those of you that don't know, when I was on maternity leave, Marissa stepped in for like a full 3 months and was here with Verbs and Blake every week. And so it's really fun. I think there's only been one other time that you and I have done an episode, just the two of us.
Yep. Yeah, it's always fun. I like it. I like coming on the podcast.
Marissa, you and I have worked pretty closely for, 3 or 4 years now.
I think it's almost 4 years.
Almost 4 years. It's a long time. It's like all of high school, to put it in perspective.
Yes.
You know, we've done high school together. I would say both of us are pretty driven people. But I'm curious, I don't know that I've ever asked you this so directly, but what are the most powerful motivators for you in work?
Yes. Well, as you know, I love the feeling of actually getting things done. Like that feeling of achievement when you're just like, yes, I accomplished that. I did it. It is done. It is off my list. I feel like there is nothing better than that feeling, especially in the workday as you go through. And our full focus system really has this kind of feeling built into it, and it's all in the power of a check mark. So that feeling when you check off, whether it be just, one of your tasks for the day or your daily big three, even a goal, anything like that, to me is so motivating and just keeps me going throughout the day.
So what I hear you saying is you would like for me to start giving you 3 very easy tasks to check off at the beginning of each day.
Yes.
No,
Show
you're not.
up for work, make my coffee, and open Slack.
Yes. Check. It is really interesting. I mean, I think we all know kind of at our core that, there's something very rewarding about just checking something off. Blake actually teases me all the time because in my planner, everything that's listed in my task or to-dos, I put like a little square box. He's like, you put a box in a box. And I'm like, yes, because I just want that check to be even more pronounced, like when I get it done. But the thing is, there's a chemical effect to this. Even a little micro step like checking off something in our planner gives us dopamine. And that can keep us motivated and keep us going when we get those little hits of dopamine. So it's science backed, okay? And so for everybody teasing me right now about my little squares inside of a square, I've got a system over here for getting things done. And so today we are going to be talking about how these micro steps are built into your planner all throughout it. So if you're wanting to get faster traction, using these little micro steps, these little checklists, can help you get there.
All right. So, Courtney, I want to walk through 4 different checkmark points in our full focus system inside of our full focus planner. So the first check is our streak tracker. And this is one of my favorites because this is technically intended for habit goals where you can kind of keep track of your streak. We've probably all done some version of this, but I actually like to do this just kind of outside of my actual habit goals as a motivator for daily habits that I'm just trying to do. So whether it be journaling, I use my full focus journal every single morning. And I love marking this inside my planner. And we just came out with a couple new versions. We have our Evergreen and our Finch linen full focus planners. And we have updated interiors in there. And inside of our weekly preview, we now have a streak tracker for the week. And I am loving tracking my journal usage inside of my weekly preview. It just kind of, like you said, gives me that hit of dopamine, gets me excited every morning to sit down and keep my streak going. I don't know about you, but that's one of the things that I like to keep track of in my streak tracker. I also track my daily meditation habit, things like drinking water, which can be kind of simple, but again, it's an easy thing to check off and keep that momentum going. So, what about you? What kind of things do you like to keep track of in your streak tracker?
I feel like in general, my personality is always keeping streaks. Side note, I've been keeping a streak of not getting a speeding ticket for 24 years. And that one just came to an end. But there is Nick
Okay,
is looking at me
we
like,
don't really have
what?
time to stop, but I do have to know, how fast were you going?
It was really not that. It was, but it wasn't. And
We're not
I
going to
was
get a
going-
number? Okay.
Okay, I'll give you a number. I was going 63 and a 55.
Oh,
That's not bad.
that's not bad.
I do way
Right?
worse on a daily basis. But the best part, though, Courtney, that you do have to share is what happened once you got pulled over.
Okay, this is bad, guys. I've had a streak. I've never gotten a speeding ticket in my entire life. So I get pulled over and, I need your license and registration. I did not have my license with me. I had just gone to the ATM and gotten money for my daughter's allowance. And you know how they stick it back in your cash? And I had just run out the door, totally had forgotten it. And then my insurance was also out of date. I was like, I probably could have gotten out of this speeding ticket if I would have had it together
Anything?
here. Anything,
Any of the
literally.
requirements for a traffic stop?
I honestly was like, but you know what? I haven't needed any of these things in 24 years. And so can I have a little grace on that? That is a streak. Some streaks come to an end. I will say even working out, when you are like, okay, I'm working out on a streak, when you do get further into a streak, it really becomes powerful because you're like, I don't want to drop it now. It's going to take me, like months to get back to this level of a streak. And so there's a lot of power in that for me. I've tracked all kinds of things over the years, but I would say really the thing I've been most committed to is tracking habit goals in my goal section of the planner. And those have been, a wide variety of things, but certainly has been helpful over the years. So check 2 is your daily rituals. This is actually kind of a little hidden secret. It's not hidden because we look at it every day if you use the Full Focus Planner. But if any version besides the Pocket version, there's a place at the top to check off if you completed your rituals. And so again, this is just a place that you can get a little dopamine kick by checking those off. And it's going to help you kind of develop that streak. It's also helpful if you track it because you can actually see, hey, this day was crazy. What was missing here? And see if, hey, it was actually my daily rituals. I didn't get my workday startup done, or I didn't get my shutdown done, which I've talked a lot about how those contribute to kind of that feeling of overwhelm. And so actually using those and getting those checked off each day can be really helpful for you, especially in your weekly preview when you look back to do that after action review of what worked and what didn't work.
Gosh, I never even thought about kind of doing a self-analysis like that about daily rituals, but I think that is brilliant. Honestly, true confessions, I'm not great at checking these off. I actually do them pretty religiously every day.
Yeah.
But I'm not great at checking them off. I tend to forget. But I love the idea of being able to go back and reference this in my weekly preview. I feel like that is a productivity hack and life hack, because the truth is I know that I am way less productive if I don't do my morning ritual and then my daily startup ritual. that brings me to check mark number 3, which is daily big 3. So this is kind of an obvious one, but this is so important to check it off every single day as you complete them. So I think that sometimes it's easy as we get busy, or if we have a crazy day where we're in meetings all day or something, that we don't check these off as we go. We end up kind of looking back at our planner at the end of the workday and checking them off, or in the evenings. But I notice that when I check these off as I complete them, it again gives me that hit of dopamine, gets me super excited, makes me feel like I'm making progress throughout the day. This happened yesterday. I was in meetings all day, which can kind of make me feel really unproductive because I'm just in meetings all day and I don't feel like I'm accomplishing a ton. And yesterday, I made sure to check off those daily big 3 as I went through and completed them. And it helped me, even though I was in meetings, the majority of yesterday, it made me feel like I was making real progress on my list, which was really encouraging. And I feel like this will give you also visibility to remind yourself what you have left to accomplish for the day. So for me, one thing that is really helpful is, if I have 2 of my daily big 3 checked off and there's one that is left, throughout my day, I'm able to reference that and remind myself of what's really important that I need to accomplish that day.
So that actually brings me to the last check, which is your weekly big 3. So just like your daily big 3, tracking your completion with your daily big 3 keeps you accountable. It also keeps you focused. It allows you to celebrate when you've hit kind of these bigger things that you're trying to accomplish during a week. And I think the really powerful thing, we talk about this all the time, is ending the tyranny of the never-ending to-do list. When you are checking off your daily big 3 and your weekly big 3, that's the recipe to end the week feeling like, wow, I got so much done this week. Because again, that to-do list, it's literally never going to end. It is just going to keep coming. And so if we can't ever get to the very end of our never-ending to-do list, doing the things that matter most and that are going to give us that sense of fulfillment in our work and the motivation we need each week to come in ready to go and excited is a really powerful thing. I will say one other tip when it comes to checking off your weekly big 3 is making sure that you are solving problems along the way. So you may, if Monday goes by and you just had this massive project thrown in, a big pivot that you're going to need to put all your focus on this week, you need to be looking at your weekly big 3 to reevaluate, is this the correct weekly big 3? Do I need to alter these, or do I just need to be more intentional about making sure I have time to do these? But you're basically problem solving along the way.
The other thing that I love about the weekly big 3, which is different than the other ones that we've talked about today, is this is an area where you can give yourself kind of partial credit, where even if you didn't complete your weekly big 3 or one of your weekly big 3, we specifically ask you in the after action review section of the weekly preview how far you got on your weekly big 3. And so for me, last week, for instance, I had 2 that I completed 100%, and then one that I was a little bit shy on. I think it was like 80% complete. And that was a really good motivator for me as I went into this week to wrap that up before I jumped into my new weekly big 3. So this is kind of an area where you don't have to say, well, I completely missed and, totally failed on that big 3, but you can actually give yourself partial credit, which I think is important.
Can I suggest something for the listener? If we're gonna hack our brains and try to get that dopamine hit, I think something that would really help, actually, I've not done this, I can't vouch for this, but it seems like it would work. Get yourself like a stamp pad or like one of those automatic stamps, like on video games or like on your phone, and they give you the ping and the sounds to reinforce when you've done something. imagine checking off stuff with that like cha-choom of like a check mark and how exciting that would be. I'm not saying that
this sounds like a new product that we need to have. You know, it's got that like, you know, like those stamps that has the hard like.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty brilliant. I want one of those for sure.
I'm
I'll
gonna
just put it around in my pocket.
I'm gonna call Adam after this and see if we can get that rolling.
Marissa, even better is if it was like the top of your pen. If you could just flip over your like in the cap, flip it over like.
Is that a thing?
There you go.
Brilliant.
I don't know. You guys don't steal my $1 million idea. Well, listen, if you have listened to these 4 checks that are built into the Full Focus Planner, or maybe you don't use a Full Focus Planner, you haven't quite tried it out yet, we actually have a free tool for you to still get some of the power of checking things off. We have a free streak tracker for you. So if you want to download that and get a little dopamine hit this week, you can download that at fullfocus.co/streak tracker. We'll also include that in the show notes so that you can get it there as well. I'm trying to remember how I did it last time, Nick, and I'm like,
you don't have you just it's like jazz. You just feel it. There's no rules.
That's
no rules.
annoying.
Okay. So I have one of our certified, already messed up. I have one of our Full Focus Planner certified pros that are, oh gosh, oh no, Nick.
These are all in the show now. So you've got to live with these.
So I do have an appointment tomorrow. So
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
Oh!
I know it's got roasted by Jake. It's like Blake is here. Oh my gosh. Hey guys, we have a new segment of the show that we are doing with some of our amazing Full Focus Planner certified pros. And so it's really all about learning from them, some of their best hacks and tools. And so today I have Jake Brown joining me. Hey Jake, how's it going?
Hey, Courtney. Doing great.
Jake, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do before we dive into your story using the planner.
Yeah, sure. I'm Jake Brown. I run a coaching consulting company called Air Balloon Advisory, and I work with specifically creatives who have typically, they're creative, they launch out, they have an idea, they start their business, and they build something that they love until they have to business. And then it turns into a prison around them. And I help them kind of organize that structure so that they can get back to having fun and enjoying, delegating things off of them so that they can enjoy having fun and doing, what they're a genius at. So that's my business side. My wife and I have 4 kids, and we homeschool. And it's we basically said, what could make this the most crazy environment in every way possible in our lives? And that's the path that we chose.
That's amazing. And I feel like you and Nick would be friends. Nick, Jake, Nick.
That description of a creative who starts a business and then is terrified of all of the businessing is very accurate.
It's pretty much all of them out there. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit how you, before maybe that you were using this with clients, how did you start using the planner?
So first off, I got an email from Michael Hyatt that there was a new thing coming out. And I pre-registered. And then I read the email because I was just like, never steered me wrong. And I dove in. I was one of those people on the pre-order. And then, when there were the glitches, whatever, like I was there through that ride.
That's amazing.
Got the planner. They finally, the planner actually came 2 days. Was it 2 days after my youngest was born? So it was like, our 4th kid was born. It was like, nope, never mind. I'm not going to dive into this. Like there is no order for the next month. I just have to survive at this point. And that actually taught me a big lesson in the planner because for a lot of my clients specifically, it is overwhelming because it's really, I tell people all the time, it's a dozen tools in one.
Mm-hmm.
And grab a corner. Like what is the need that we have to do right now? And you just grab one corner and then you grow into it. And that's what I did. I got that first planner, kind of got my feet back under me after our kid was born. And I was completely overwhelmed. I tried to dive in and watch all the videos and everything. And I got about 2 days in and put it on the shelf. And then about a week later, I got it back out. And what I realized is, so I'm an Enneagram 7. So it's fun and boredom. Like fun, great. Boredom, no. I will run from boredom. And what I found out is if I will use the planner to, I got in the habit of using it. And what it did, it was like, I realized that I'm very undisciplined by nature, but discipline is just self-imposed accountability. And if I blamed the planner, then I could keep having fun. So I kind of separated in my mind, like all the boring stuff that has to be done, I can blame the planner for the things that have to get done. And then I can keep having fun. And then I can report back to the planner to grab the next thing that has to check off. So by adding that structure was the first thing that I did. And during that time, I launched with my kids a board game company for kids. And we sold that. But so I launched that.
That's
we created some board
amazing.
games and some books for kids. And I was the creative director at an ad agency. So I was working all that, leading that team, kind of got that organized, then was spending better time with my kids and with my family, which became this board game company. And that's basically the story. Is it added this structure so that I could be more free to have fun, which is the structure that I had been kind of avoiding for most of my career.
For me, it's like being able to trust that I have this system that's like being my brain for me. Like I don't have to hold it all in my head.
It's like what is it, the Einstein quote? I can't remember it word for word, but basically he says he doesn't carry any knowledge that he can find. So it's the idea of like you don't have to memorize things that you can find. And I'm like, when I knew that I could find it in my planner, then I could continue dreaming. I could continue really the creative thinking, because I knew that all of the like the deductive and like the like deciding, like all of the control thinking was in the planner. So I could then go back to doing what only I could do. One of my biggest tips that I always tell everybody is grab it, break it open, grab a pen and just scribble all over it. Now you're not afraid to write in it. And I always tell people start with pen. Like some people start with pens. I'm like, grab a pen and just put ink on the page. I don't care what you do.
Yes.
Give it to a toddler and let them break it in for you. Like, just don't be afraid of it. Because once people get to that point, then you can install it in their life. Just a couple little habits. And once you get a couple habits, then you can install the next tool and the next tool and the next tool. And that's really, I guess, been my my joy with the planner, is getting it installed for myself and then for others, because it can be scary. But I think really what most people are afraid of, because I was, is what if this works and I have to change things? Like, that was my biggest fear. And I'm like, good. Like, what if this works? Like, it just seems weird to be afraid of that, but I think we all kind of are.
That is, first of all, my all-time new favorite hack that I might steal, and I will try to give Jake Brown credit from now on, to grab your pen, let's grab a marker, find a random page, and let's get some doodles on there.
Well, I have an install video that I send people, like, here, we're going to install your planner. And the first thing I have them do is open it up and cut out the first, 3 pages.
That's amazing.
No offense to, it's got your... the blank page, it's got, the full focus planner, it's got your name, your email, your contact information, it's got the contents, it's got a letter from Michael Hyatt, whatever, quote from him. But if you go straight to page 5, like, imagine being able to open your planner straight to the annual goals. Like, why would you want anything else? I started writing my annual goals on the inside cover. And then my biggest pushback, people are like, well, what happens if you lose it? How are people going to know it's yours? You can write your name on any page, guys.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to have the "this is my planner, please email it to me" page. So that's been
that's an interesting, that's a hack too. Like, especially you have
to leave about a 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch of the page, because if you actually cut too close to that first inside cover, the spine will split. So you want to make sure you don't do that.
I have the coil, so I can just
you can just rip them out.
Yeah, I can just rip them out. But it's true. Like, once you have been using it for a while, you definitely don't need the start here. Or if they're working with a certified pro like you, that's going to help them get it installed. You can just kind of lose those pages.
My main hacks are typically like, this is nice. Now it's better. Let's start. Like, I tell people all the time, like, at the end of the quarter, I want my planner to just be destroyed. I want to suck every ounce of life out of it that I can. And that doesn't, eventually, using all the tools in there is great. For like me, the rolling quarter, I've never understood. It just never made sense to me before.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? We can do, I mean, for over a year, it was the tic-tac-toe page with my kids. But it was like one of our goals was to spend time together. And that became one of my habit goals, was to play tic-tac-toe on that page, and I could track it.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's such a great illustration. Well, I think, man, this has been so helpful, and there's been so many amazing tips and tricks. I do want to give people some insight on how they can connect with you or our other Full Focus Planner certified pros. So first of all, we're going to put Jake's information in our show notes. So if you want to reach out to him directly, but also if you're just interested in, again, installing some of these tools, maybe they're tools you've never used or you're brand new to the planner, these Full Focus Planner certified pros are just going to get you where you're trying to go faster. And so you can find our Full Focus Planner certified pros at fullfocus.co/directory. And just make sure to search by earners there. And again, we'll have Jake's information in our show notes. And then Jake, you're also in our Full Focus Planner community. And so people can reach out to you there if they want to connect. I have found this incredibly helpful, and I think for all of us. So let's get out a magic marker and go to town. Let's see how messy we can make these things. Jake, thanks so much for joining us. This has been really helpful, and I know everybody listening and I have some new tips to try. So thanks for joining us again.
Oh, you bet. It's been a pleasure.
Well, Courtney, as always, it was a blast to be with you and get to chat about our beloved Full Focus Planner and the dopamine hit of checking things off. So thanks for having me on. I'm sure that I will be seeing more of you and hopefully get to come on the podcast again. So thanks everyone for joining us on Focus on This.
This is the most productive podcast on the internet. So share it with your friends, and don't forget to join us over on the Full Focus Planner community on Facebook. We will be back next Monday with another great episode. Until then, stay focused.